Good morning. I'm Carol Hillman, a member of your Board of Trustees. Welcome to all those who are here and those who are joining us online. It's great to be here. Looking forward to connecting with you all after the service in our fireside room for some coffee and conversation. Our worship together here is the centerpiece of our communal life at MLUC. Here we can let go, be held, be challenged as we share and reflect on life's journey. We nurture a loving community that cares for each other, supports each of us in our quests for meaning in life, and inspires us to bring more peace, justice, and compassion to our world. Our service today will be led by our very own Rick McKnight, one of my favorite people. Rick has been a member of our congregation along with his wife Debbie for nearly 30 years. After completing a career in organizational psychology, he says he's become more of what he always was, an artist and a thinker. We'll get to hear some of his thinking this morning. Also joining us is our Director of Learning and Family Ministries, Dawn Star's Sarahs-Borchelt. We have two worship associates this morning, Tina Adams and Travis Billesbach-Scholl. Our music this morning will be Adrianne Klein and Jodie Brown. Before our services begin, please silence your electronic devices. And we can all join together in saying our mission. Together, we transform lives through love, service, and our welcoming faith.
Good morning. I'm Adrianne, and I'm really happy to be here with you this morning. My family and I have been coming to MLUC, and I've been singing in the choir for about 6 months. And I will say, by way of disclaimer, that I had no vocal training or experience before joining our choir. But it's been truly delightful, and I want to thank all of you for making MLUC such a wonderful and welcoming musical community. So I'm here today because David, our music director, with his generous heart, he says to me, "Adrianne, you're doing well in the choir. How do you feel about doing a solo?" And I said, And he says, "Oh, great. I will put you down for a whole service. But we can do it during the summer when there's not so many people." So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who did not come today. For those of you who are here, I'm going to ask you to help me in singing our first song together. You all know and love "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's
As we light our chalice this morning, let us be a faith that gathers, reaching for one another through the walls of hate others build, through the cages of ignorance and arrogance, and through the fear that burns city streets. Let us be a faith that sees a vision of a better world, more compassionate, more just, more holy, and with more love. There is a faith that binds up the broken, cauterizes battle wounds with the balm of peace, sings longer and louder than the trumpets of war. Let us be that faith too. Let us be the ones who do not tread lightly in this world, but light it up with our love, who hold up the mirror of worth and dignity, who are the sanctuary others seek. But first, let us be a faith that worships together here this morning, in this space, at this moment. Let us be a faith.
So I'm going to read you a bit of, we'll be singing this song called The Torn Flag by Pete Seeger. I'll read you the introduction that he wrote to this song, so you have a little bit of context. So Malcolm X once debated another black man as to whether they could call themselves Americans. "I'm not an American," said Malcolm. "Why do you think you are?" "Well, I'm an American because I was born here," said the other. "Well, you could put a shoe in an oven and that wouldn't make it a biscuit," was Malcolm's retort. Now, I'm afraid I have no choice. My light-skinned ancestors participated fully in the decisions, good and bad, which form this nation. I've spent a lifetime fighting the blacklisters who tried to make me feel like an outcast in my own home. I had an uncle who wrote a poem with the lines, "I have a rendezvous with death at midnight in a flaming town." So I made some new verses. I don't have a regular tune for it yet. I just kind of chant it to an improvised modal melody, which we will now all hear. At midnight in a flaming angry town, I saw my country's flag lying torn upon the ground. I ran in and dodged among the crowd, then scooped it up and scampered out to safety. And then I took this striped old piece of cloth and tried my best to wash the garbage off. But I found it had been used for wrapping lies. It smelled and stank and attracted all the flies. While I was feverishly at my task, I heard a husky voice that seemed to ask, "Do you think you could change me just a bit?" Betsy Ross did her best, but she made a few mistakes. My blue is good, the color of the sky. The stars are good for ideals, oh so high. 7 stripes of red are strong to meet all danger. But those white stripes, they need some changing. I need also some stripes of deep, rich brown, and some of black and tan, then all around. A border of God's gracious green would look good there. Maybe you should slant the stripes, and then I'd not be so square. I woke and said, what a ridiculous story. Don't let anybody say I suggested tampering with old glory. But tonight it's near midnight, and in another flaming town, Once again I hear my country's flag is lying torn upon the ground.
Was a Unitarian Universalist, and I was lucky enough to hear him perform live at General Assembly in 2005, 20 years ago. And in that song, he talks about how maybe our American flag could use some slight tweaks to make it better. And I happen to have the things we need to make the flag in the song. And I would like some help doing that. If anybody's up for it. Yeah, you can just come up. I've got lots of parts. And if anybody else wants to come up, adult or child, you are welcome to do so. So I have a lot of things in my hands, so Tina's going to help me out here. Yeah. So first we have my blue is good, the color of the sky. Does anybody know where on the American flag that belongs? Over in that corner, yeah. All the way at the top. Okay. And then we have stars. And Pete didn't say this because I don't think he was thinking about it when he wrote the song, but I got rainbow stars for pride because, you know. So, and I got 52 stars because I'd kind of like Puerto Rico and DC in there. So you guys can start. They don't need to go in any order, just put them on the blue. Here's some more. Okay. How are we doing with that? Are they coming off? Yeah, I didn't actually try peeling stars. If you put them all the way, that's fine, leave that one there, but there's going to be a green border, so maybe put them more like in the middle. Yeah. Do another one. Okay, so while you're working on the stars, we're going to start on the stripes. So 7 stripes of red are strong to meet all danger, but those white stripes, they need some changing. We need also some stripes of deep rich brown and some of tan and black. And so this is the part that's a little tricky. Like I figured this out before church, and they have to go anyway. We're gonna work on it. We have to start with red and end with red is what I figured out. Okay, so here. Okay, anybody wanna do stripes or should Tina and I just do the stripes? Okay, Emma, come over here and help with the stripes. Okay, we got to do the stars, though. Okay. We'll get to the green at the end. I think we need another piece of tape up here, or we're going to lose it. Okay, there we go. Here, can you hold it up while Tina puts it up, and then I'll pick out the next stripe that needs to go up here. You hold that one up. I said this part was a little tricky. Okay. We got black. Ah! I don't know if you guys can see this through the children's heads, but.
We're mini Boston builders.
It's okay. There. Maybe you could put some on the end here and wrap it around there. Okay, so where are we at? All right, so now we've got, this one definitely needs people to hold it up. Push it up a little bit over the blue.
I want to help.
You're going to in a second. I'm going to give you the red one that's next. Okay. Not like that. You are strong and true to face all danger, but put the stripe on the flag. Pop it up, though, because we're going to run out of space. There's more stripes coming, so, oh, that's taped up now. Let's put it a little bit. Let's put this one up. You can, but that's the last piece. I'm just putting this up a little bit because, all right, how are we doing on the stars?
Not that good because they're harder
It
to
takes
get
a
off
while.
than you think.
Yes, I'm seeing that. I didn't actually try the taking them off thing. Okay, Emma, we are going to need that stripe, but we're getting there, guys.
Is there 52 stars on this one?
Well, there was a little tiny sheet. Did you get the 2 off of the little tiny sheet, Sam? Did you get them both off? Okay, cool. The extra 2 are, in case you missed that, are for Puerto Rico and, oh, not yet. Don't put that there yet. That is going to go there, but we need to put them in order or it's going to get.
Did you say there was going to be green?
There is. The green goes around the border, so we have to put everything else on first, and then we put the green on. Okay, Emma, that one can go on next, over a little bit over, like put it up a little bit over the brown. There we go. Emery, do you want to put your finger right there? Yeah, there we go. Well, for one thing, you're wearing a name tag. But also, I do know your name. Whether it would come into my head at this exact moment without your name tag is another question. So wear your name tags, everybody. Because there are a lot of you and there's one of me. Okay, that's the green. Yeah, it's all taped together because I figured that taping on little pieces of green would be too hard. How are the stars coming? Are we getting there? Okay, awesome. My timing was actually perfect, given the difficulty of the stars.
Not done yet.
Very close.
Very close. We're close to done, but not done. Why is there like 2?
Why is there 2 what?
There's 2 black.
There's 2 black, there's 2 tan, and there's 2 brown. Because that's how many stripes. Do you know why there's 13 stripes?
Where's the white?
Well, I mean, this tan is pretty close to my skin color. I only had 3 colors of construction paper, is the truth.
So there's the 13 colors for flags and then the 50 stars and 50 states.
Yes. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. And really, like, most people who are black do not have skin that is the color of black construction paper either, but, like, we work with what we have. Well, yeah, right. And we also, you know, if we were really making a flag, it probably wouldn't have tape all over it. But we do what we can with the materials we have at hand. I think we should really do rainbow stars. I'm an advocate of actually having rainbow stars.
Yellow, because that's the real.
Oh, but stars are rainbow. Like, there are stars that are all different colors. Like, if you're talking about astronomical stars, astrological stars are a completely different thing. Yeah, giant purple stars. Yeah, I mean, there's logic and feeling behind having rainbow stars.
It's all the colors at once.
Actually, technically speaking, all the stars are all the colors at once. Like, light is all the colors all at once, right? But then we see whatever color it's bouncing off of. So we can make the stars whatever colors we want. Okay, applause for our lovely helpers. So I wish that we could really have this flag. You guys can sit down if you want to. Our country has green lands and blue skies, and we are strong, and we have people of many colors, but we didn't start out treating people fairly, and we don't treat people fairly now. The ideals we say we hold dear have not always been how we behave as a country. We can do better. Even today, we can do better. Both we in this room and we the whole country. And maybe then we can have this flag for real. I'd like to invite children and youth to meet me in the atrium so we can figure out what we're doing today, aside from making a flag.
each month during the year and also during the summer, we select a local charitable organization with whom we share half of our weekly collection. The recipient for our June offering outreach is People Advancing Reintegration Recycle Works, PAR Recycling. This organization is a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization located in North Philadelphia. They provide transitional employment, job skill training, and permanent job placement to people returning from prison. It earns revenue by responsibly recycling discarded end-of-life electronics for its supply partners. None of the products of their recycling processes go to landfills. By employing justice-impacted people returning home from incarceration, PAR strengthens environmentally sustainable communities as well as the families to which their employees are returning. In 2024, PAR realized a 0% recidivism rate in their participants. This organization's work illustrates the UU values of interdependence, equity, justice, and generosity. To make a cashless donation, whether watching remotely or here in the sanctuary, please follow the instructions that you see on the screen or the back page of the order of the service. The offering will now be gratefully received. Will the ushers please come forward?
The crops are all in and the peaches are rotting. The oranges are piled in their creosote dumps. You're flying them back to the Mexican border to pay all their money to wade back again. Goodbye, my one, goodbye, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. My father's own father, he waded that river. They took all the money he made in his life. My brothers and sisters come working the fruit trees, and they rode the truck till they took down and died. Goodbye to my one, goodbye, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. Some of us are illegal and some are not wanted. Our work contract's up and it's time to move on. 600 miles to that Mexican border. They chase us like outlaws, like rustlers, like thieves. Goodbye to my one, goodbye, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. We died in your hills, we died in your deserts. We died in your valleys and died on your plains. We died neath your trees, we died in your bushes. Both sides of the river, we died just the same. Goodbye to my one, goodbye, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. Is this the best way we can grow our big orchards? Is this the best way we can grow our good fruit? to fall like dry leaves, to rot on the topsoil, and be called by no name except deportees. Goodbye to my one, goodbye, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees.
It is our custom to share our personal joys and sorrows, expecting to be heard, accepted, and supported. Candles of Community is our ritual of personal sharing and support. After each candle is lit, please join me in saying, "We hold you in our hearts." We first light a candle of gratitude for the delegates representing our congregation at the Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly in Baltimore, Maryland. We hold you in our hearts. We light a candle of concern as Emma Mellon shares with us that Paul Vines, a dear friend of her brother, has been diagnosed with stage 4 glioblastoma. For Paul Vines and Emma Mellon and her brother, we hold you in our hearts. We light a candle of sorrow due to the bombing of Iran by U.S. forces. For all those directly affected and for those of us experiencing concern, fear, loss, and sadness, we hold you in our hearts. We light a candle of sorrow and concern for all trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people and those who love them due to the Supreme Court ruling that U.S. states can limit medical care for trans youth. We hold you in our hearts. We light a candle of joy and gratitude for the national holiday of Juneteenth that President Biden signed into law in 2021, celebrating freedom for those previously enslaved in our country. We hold you in our hearts. And for all joys and sorrows too deeply words, we light a candle and hold you in our hearts.
What do we mean when we say that first of all we seek liberty? I often wonder whether we do not rest our hopes too much upon constitutions, upon laws, and upon courts. These are false hopes. Believe me, these are false hopes. Liberty lies in the hearts of men and women. When it dies there, no constitution, no law, no court can even do much to help it. While it lies there, it needs no constitution, no law, no court to save it.
Say 'em loud. or say I'm clear for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart, move all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man shall be free. Well, I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things that I can do, though I'm way overdue. I'd be starting anew. Well, I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly. Oh, I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea, and I'd sing 'cause I know, I'd sing 'cause I know how it feels. Yes, I know how it feels to be free.
Thank you so much. There's a connection between what Adrianne told us earlier about how she ended up in this place this morning. I too have a cautionary tale. So last January, John Morehouse, our senior minister, from this pulpit, referenced the American flag outside our church. And he said it may just be time for us to become more patriotic than we've ever been. I sent him an email thanking him for those remarks, and I included, perhaps a mistake, an unpublished editorial about why I think liberals, political liberals, should fly the American flag. He replied, "I liked your writing. When can you give a sermon on this topic?" Well, I am a little nervous, but I'm very privileged to be up here this morning. I greet you all, and I greet those online, two of whom I know, one both on the West Coast, and one that some of you know, friends of mine sitting up close. Gerald Mosley said he was going to tune in. He's in the Sacramento area. And my brother Ron, who asked me to wave at him. So there you go, Ron. And you might have noticed other visitors here this morning. There's my old friend Dick, Jim, Paul, and others are here, Jake and Beth, to support me. And if you notice someone around you that you don't know, even though they might have no relation to me, please welcome them and invite them to join you at coffee hour. My two daughters, Erin and Amanda, there they are, Erin, sitting together, are also here. They were raised in this church. Some of you helped raise them. Now, if I can exert a late Father's Day privilege, I would like to ask you to welcome them and have them stand so that you can see you, some of you, helped raise these kids. Looking at you, JB and Carol. Now, on a sober note, so last night we enjoyed an evening at the theater, and we got home later than we normally would, and I thought, well, I'll turn on the tube to see what's going on. And I thought, uh-oh, is my sermon still relevant? And as you certainly know, last night President Trump authorized and the United States military then carried out bombings of 3 nuclear enrichment sites in Iran. Involvement by the U.S. in a campaign that was, until last night, driven solely by the Israeli Defense Forces. This raises worries about a war in the Middle East, which the U.S. will be certainly involved in. Some of us, probably most of us, have strong feelings about this, including me. Hearing this news caused me to wonder if my sermon this morning remained relevant. I've concluded that it does, perhaps more now than before. But that I needed to say something beforehand that I learned a long time ago in graduate school. Studying relationships in graduate school, I learned that when events occur in our relationships, we have intense feelings. And about those feelings, we have but 3 choices. We can move away from the relationship, nursing feelings of fear, resignation, or disgust. Or we can move against the relationship, nursing feelings of anger and retribution. Or we can move towards the relationship, even though this is the most difficult option, summoning our wisdom. Despite the news, because of the news, this morning I will urge us to move towards our country. Neither the bombing of Iran nor any potential aftermath alter the meaning or import of what my sermon was written to address, which is to preserve our democracy. People of conscience must rise above our most basic impulses and work faithfully with others to promote the ethical, spiritual, and moral foundations that sustain the American experiment, even if it's hard. And so with that in mind, I offer you the sermon I've prepared, unchanged, and I believe more necessary now than ever. Now, on a lighter note, raise your hand if you like those little library boxes that you see in the front of people's houses, next to the sidewalk. Who likes those little boxes? Who has one at your house? Please put up one. I may walk down your street. I love those little boxes. Because I've been in a reflective mood about democracy and the Constitution lately, I was delighted to find in one of those boxes a book by Naomi Wolf that speaks to me. Give Me Liberty, a handbook for American revolutionaries. It offers advice to those like me who are uncertain as to how to stand up for your country's ideals when your government seems to have become the problem, not the solution. In the book, Wolf writes, I wrote this handbook with the faith that if Americans take personal ownership of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, they can push back any darkness. What a concept. We, the people, can push back any darkness. Wolf believes, by contrast, that most Americans today see themselves as privileged inheritors of liberty. This is not, she writes, what the founders said we citizens should be. The founders said citizens should be defenders and builders of liberty, not consumers of it. Patriotism, Wolf says, must go beyond beliefs and creeds to consumption, and consumption to actions. Where am I headed? In my remarks this morning, I'm going to try to tie some threads together. Namely, the role of a citizen in our democracy, my view, shared by others, but my view. That's one. Second, how our Unitarian Universalist principles, they're in your order of service on the back, align with our country's founding aspirations and a simple act anyone can take to advance freedom, at least in your own heart. If you already do what I'm going to urge, you can encourage others to do it. It's a very simple thing. I urge you, if you don't do this already, to fly the American flag at your home every day. And by the way, if you live in a situation that has a homeowners association, you may have been told that you may not do this, but that's wrong. It turns out that the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005, signed by George W. Bush, prohibits condo associations from restricting homeowners from displaying a U.S. flag on their property. stand up for your rights. Here's my claim. You might think it's outlandish. If substantially more Americans who cherish democracy, especially those whose politics lean left, reclaim and proudly display the American flag, our political discourse will change for the better. I've made this assertion in other circumstances many times, and I very often meet with a wall of resistance from liberals who insist that flying the American flag is something only Republicans do. They do have a point. A poll by the Survey Center on American Life shows that 47% of Americans regularly fly the flag, compared to 18% of Democrats. Now, let me tell you why I, a lifelong liberal and a previous scorner of the flag, started putting it up at our home. Do you remember where you were and what you were doing on January 6th, 2021? Do you remember how you felt? Watching the coverage on that day, I came to a slow, then a furious boil when I saw American flags being used as weapons against the police. I thought this disgraced our country and defiled a symbol I did not know I had come to cherish. Afterwards, and as a consequence, I told a friend of ours, Gerald, that I was going to buy and display an American flag. He cautioned me. He was looking out for me. He said, "Be ready for some reactions you may not like." I immediately thought of the neighbor a couple of blocks away whose Trump-Pence sign from 2016 just recently fell out of the tree in front of his house. That person, I thought, would probably approve if I put up a flag. But I wondered what I'd hear from neighbors around the corner who display the Black Lives Matter sign. You know, Debbie, my wife, is a lot smarter than me. So as I fretted about buying and putting up a flag and not wanting to do something that she might not like, I said to her, "What would you think about this?" She said, "Of course I don't mind. We are Americans." Touch me. Then I went to buy the flag, and I saw this. Proudly display your patriotic feelings. Express your love and admiration for this great country. I was taken aback. Though I was committed to the purchase, patriotic? Am I patriotic? I do love the convictions on which this country was founded. But do I love my discord-riven country? I found myself wondering what the flag of the revolutionaries meant to the ragtag soldiers during the Valley Forge winter of 1777 and 78. And what did the flag at the head of the Ku Klux Klan parade in Washington, D.C. in 1925 mean to those 30,000 hooded and robed men marching down Constitution Avenue and the 150,000 people that cheered them on? What did that flag mean? And what does the American flag on the back of a huge black pickup mean? The one next to a Confederate flag. Because I had been reading about the Civil War at the time, I knew what the flag meant to Frederick Douglass in the years before the end of slavery. He condemned the flag as a symbol of hypocrisy, noting that as long as slavery existed under the Union flag, he would view it with scorn and derision. And I also knew what our Harlem-born author and intellectual James Baldwin said, speaking for many black people. It comes as a great shock, he said, to discover the flag to which you have pledged allegiance has not pledged allegiance to you. The most important question, of course, is what does the flag really mean to me? I'm fixin' to tell you. For 4 years, despite my friend's caution, no one said a word about the flag in our home. Not a peep. Then a neighbor recently, a few months ago, stopped me on the sidewalk. I know this man to be a Democrat. His expression was wary. He seemed confused. "Are you a Republican?" he says to me. I said, "No." And I knew he knew this. I am a registered Democrat. With a furrowed brow and evident confusion, he said, "But you fly the American flag." I asked him what that symbol meant to him. He said, MAGA and right-wing politics. I realized that he was warning me about my flag, that somehow by displaying it, I was marking my family out, putting them at risk. And he was clearly unsettled by what he saw as a contradiction. Someone, me, who seemed otherwise to share his values, had claimed a symbol he seemed to disdain. I told him I don't think of the flag as a right-wing symbol. To me, it stands for the ideals this country aspires to. Among them, equality, liberty, and justice. And I want to be a part of reclaiming it. But aren't you worried that people will think you're a Republican? He asked. It was as if he were telling me I had rats in my garbage. I said, no, that wouldn't bother me in the least. Not in the least. I don't think being a Republican is a bad thing. Lincoln was a Republican. I didn't say it at the time, but I've thought about it often since. His reaction reflects the very dilemma we face. When people of conscience retreat from our nation's symbol, we cede its meaning to others. During the run-up to the 2016 and 2020 elections, a lot of the homes, most with Trump signs, also had a flag flying. The same was true in 2024. Almost none of the homes with a Harris sign that I saw had an American flag. Is this a problem? I think so. And not just for Democrats. Now, let me see if I can connect the flag to the Unitarian Universalist principles. In this church, we profess a set of 7 principles. We have no creed by choice. Many of us strive to live in accord with those principles. I ask myself, what might those principles call us to consider about our role as citizens of our country? The first principle affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person, echoing the American founding belief that all people are created equal and possess fundamental rights. When we commit to our principles, we commit to promoting justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Similarly, the American experiment is rooted in commitments to justice, equality before the law, and the protection of individual rights. When we affirm the UU principle of using the democratic process in our congregation and society, we mirror the American commitment to government by consent, free speech, and civic participation. Liberty and justice require actions, not just words. Our founding ideals and our UU faith both call us to live our values with integrity and resolve. Be clear, or let me be clear. I speak for no one other than myself when I say that as a citizen of this country and as a member of this church, I believe I am answerable to 2 callings that are exquisitely compatible. The enlightened vision on which our country was founded, our imperfect country, and the UU principles that call us to work toward justice. If you feel compelled in this way and don't do so now, I invite you to fly an American flag outside your home, as we do outside this church. Doing this will not change Donald Trump. It won't change Congress. It won't change a political party. It won't change anything external to yourself. But if you're anything like me, it will change you. On a practical note, you can buy a high-quality, tariff-free, American-made flag at one of the remaining local hardware stores for about $60, complete with the mounting hardware and the whole deal. $60. What's the price of freedom? And if I'm being convincing this morning and the only thing stopping you is you wouldn't know how to mount a flag, here's an offer. I will come to your home. I will bring Bob back. And we will mount it. I'll bring David Hucker too, and it'll go real fast. The founders of this country spoke voluminously about the responsibilities of citizens. All of them, Washington, Jefferson, Madison, John Adams, a Unitarian, and others, call us to stand up to tyranny. You may say, putting up a flag is not going to turn back tyranny. And I would agree. But I can tell you something. If you are urged to do what I'm urging, or you take even one other step beyond your usual habits to draw our country a tiny bit closer to its aspirations, you will enter a frame of mind that declares the following: I am rethinking my role as a citizen. I am reclaiming my country's deepest values. I am choosing to refresh, at least within myself, the promise of democracy. Before I close, and I'm getting close, I would be remiss if I failed to acknowledge that no flag is a neutral symbol. By displaying a flag, or even refusing to display a flag, you are telling a story. If you put up a flag and your neighbor asks you why you did, you might want to be ready to give an answer, one that speaks to the moment. Does your flag say that America is a Christian nation and that God has called Christians to exercise dominion over all areas of American society as Christian nationalists do? Now 30% of our fellow Americans. Does it say, as their flag does, there's no need for the separation of church and state? Does your flag say, as theirs does, that one religion and one race should rule above the rest, and that due process is optional? Or does your flag say, as mine does, that we have a living, striving, imperfect democracy, one that holds that all people are created equal before the law, that welcomes the stranger and finds value and strength in all our glorious diversity? What does your flag say? Concluding thought. Jim Wallace, Christian theologian, Georgetown professor, advisor to several presidents, in his book, God's Politics, Why the Right Gets It Wrong and the Left Doesn't Get It, urges people of faith to put politics in its proper place. Jim Wallace says, don't go right and don't go left. Go deeper. By this, he urges people of conscience to rise above partisan loyalties and promote the ethical, spiritual, and moral foundations that sustain democracy. These are, he says, hear me, these are the only things that can unify our nation. Healing and unifying our nation, he tells us, will not come from choosing sides, but from grounding ourselves in deeper principles. Let me close with this. A plea. A plea. As religious liberals, speaking to my fellow members, and more broadly to this audience, we're all citizens of this nation. Let's go deeper. Let's move towards our nation. Let's more fully understand the sacred foundations on which our country was built. As Unitarians, let's celebrate our UU principles and how our country's aspirations align. Let's forgive our country its imperfections and seek to rectify them. And let's reclaim our most important symbol. So may it be. Please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn number 121. Let us remember that our flag stands not for perfection, but for the promise of a more perfect union. Our flag calls us not to triumph, but to responsibility, to one another and to the common good. Let us hold fast to our Unitarian Universalist principles, for when we live them with courage and compassion, we do more than bear witness. We help build a nation of our highest hopes. Please be seated for the posting.
Our last song today will be a song many of you may know, We Shall Not Be Moved. And this song was, like many protest songs, started as an African-American spiritual, and then it was adopted by different protest movements for labor rights, civil rights movements. And it did make its way around the world. It was translated into Spanish and sung by protesters against the Franco dictatorship in Spain and against the Pinochet dictatorship in Chile. It was sung in Spanish as well by farm workers in the American West. So today, I will be singing the first few voices in Spanish in solidarity with our Latino brothers and sisters. And then I will invite you to join me in English with We Shall Not Be Moved.
No, 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 no nos moverán. No, no, no nos moverán como un árbol firme junto al río. No nos moverán. Unidos en la lucha, no nos moverán. Unidos en la lucha, no nos moverán como un árbol firme junto al río. No nos moverán. Unidos venceremos, no nos moverán. Unidos venceremos, no nos moverán como un árbol firme junto al río. No nos moverán. And in English now. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. Fighting for freedom, we shall not be moved. Fighting for freedom.